What? Like, what? I I don't understand this. So ESPN names wide receiver as Cincinnati's top roster hole. That's like the opposite of what a roster hole is. Number one, no, not even a question. If you ask me this question, I'm gonna say, left guard, left guard. Like that's 100% the problem. Like you could even say maybe center. Teddy K's a little older. I love Teddy K, but he's a little older. Maybe you want someone to like kind of replace him, move him to left guard, right? I mean, offensive line and the depth of the offensive line is the biggest problem. Left guard offensive line depth is probably my biggest problem if I'm listing it off on a sheet of paper, right? So that's 100%. Wide receiver is the last, and I mean the last position I care about at this moment in time. Because, yeah, we lost Tyler Boyd, right? T. Higgins situation's weird. We haven't franchise tagged, though, and we could franchise tag him again for a $26.5 million next year, right? Obviously, Ocho Cinco came out, Chad Johnson came out and said he believes that we're going to work out a contract with T. Whatever the case, I'm not worried about the T. Higgins situation. I'm really not. Because behind him, Jermaine Burton, Yoshi, those are two very capable future prospects that could replace him in the future. Outside of that, we also have, again, Chuck Sizzle. We have Trenton Irwin. We have Jamar Chase. You know, we have a lot of options at the receiver position. And obviously, we have like 17 tight ends at this point. So, I'm not worried in any way about wide receiver. I get the uncertainty of T. Higgins, but, bro, what? So let's just read what they said. They said wide receiver is the only hole, not left guard, not Cordell Volson, okay, for the Bengals, because we don't know what will happen with franchise tag T. Higgins and his trade request. Okay, that's one player, though. And we have players that I think Yoshi can really take a step forward and take over for T. Higgins. I'm not saying he's going to be T. Higgins. I'm saying I think he could take a step forward and be really good. And Jermaine Burton is going to be really good as well. If Higgins stays in Cincinnati, the Bengals have a reasonable group to fill out. Wait, if Higgins stays in Cincinnati, the Bengals should have a reasonable group to fill out the receiver depth chart. Third pick, Jermaine Burton has the always underrated Trenton Irwin and 83 receiving. Okay, he's just saying the stats. And promising second year Yoshi. However, any of these players would be a stretch as a full-time starter opposite Jamar Chase. I disagree with that. I think that, well, first off, Trenton Irwin is a starter. You can't say it's a stretch to say that he would be a starter. Actually, wait. Promising second. Okay, never mind. I think he's saying Jermaine Burton and Yoshi would be a stretch. But even then, I think Yoshi is capable of being a starter. Last year, he got a lot of starting reps when T. Higgins went down. He was a solid wide receiver 2 for us. And I think with another year under his belt in the sophomore season, I think he can really develop and be an outside receiver that we need. I think that people are really, it's funny because ESPN here says, you know, what's his name is underrated. Trenton Irwin's underrated. I think that they're not looking how underrated Yoshi is. And I think they need to realize that it was his rookie season last year. And I think in his second year, he can develop and become a true wide receiver too. And maybe that's a stretch, but I think that's very, very, you know, I'm confident he can become a wide receiver too. The Bengals bring Higgins back in the fold. The biggest hole might be cornerback depth, although positional change for Dax helps with that problem. How is left guard not your second biggest problem? Cornerback depth, that's not a problem at all. We have Cam Taylor-Britt, DJ Turner, Mike Hilton, Josh Newton. As they said right there, Dax Hill is going to become a corner too. And then you can even go farther. You got Geno Stone, you got Von Bell, you got Jordan Battle, Tyson Anderson. You have a lot of players in that secondary. Like a lot. And we could always pick up a free agent after June 1st cuts. These are the two positions that, if you ask me about the Bengals, the three positions I say there's no problem at is quarterback, wide receiver, and corner. Those are the three positions. Like, offensive line is always the biggest issue, and that's the biggest issue that's going to continue until we finish and fix that left guard situation and finish, get someone in there. Outside of left guard, I mean, again, you could even say defensive line. I think with our draft, we did a really good job. But you could say, well, Trey Hendrickson requested a trade, and he's getting up there in age, and he has injury concerns. Like, you could really pick anything. Receiver and corner would be the last position I would pick. You could say linebacker. Well, the Bengals don't have that much depth at linebacker. Okay, I'll give you that. That's pretty credible. But corner? I don't know, ESPN. I think you're grasping for straws at this point. I disagree with that. I think receiver is fine. Even if we lost T, I don't think receiver is a big deal. I think we would draft another receiver, and I think we have the receivers on the roster to be successful. And again, you got to keep in mind, we can always hit free agency. If we lost T, that's $20 million off our cap hit, off our cap charts here, right? We could easily go find another receiver in free agency. There's a lot of them that could be not anywhere close to T, but pretty okay and a good starter. If anything, a high-end wide receiver 3, low-end wide receiver 2. And I still have faith in Yoshi. I still have faith in what Jermaine Burton can be. Obviously, Jermaine Burton, we don't know about him yet because he's a rookie. But Yoshi has shown he has potential. And Chuck Sizzle is still on the roster. I don't know. I disagree with this completely, ESPN. I think you're just I think you posted this because you want to talk about T. Higgins, and that's a topic to talk about right now. Because the only thing that the people bring up with the Bengals is Joe Burrow's injury prone or T. Higgins doesn't want to play on the team. That's the one or two things that they bring up every time people talk about the Bengals. And come on now. I don't even know why I'm entertaining this, but I want to entertain this because I think this is kind of this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy, but you know what? It is what it is. It is May. ESPN, this is the best you got talking. Your talking points are the Bengals have a problem with wide receiver. Come on, man. I don't think we have a problem with wide receiver at all. I'm very confident at receiver. It's one of the positions I'm very confident. You can even, I didn't even mention this. Running back. Third string running back. You could even make a whole situation around that as well. You could say, like, what about third string running back? Isn't that could be a problem? Like, there's so many positions you could list off that's not wide receiver. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Tell me down below your thoughts and opinions. I'll see you guys next one. Peace.